Welcome to Front and Center with Jacquie Jordan.
Hi, Jacquie Jordan. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Here's to all the people making an impact. Lots of love.
This is Front and Center with your host, Jacquie Jordan.
Entertainment and pop culture expert Jacquie Jordan is with us.
Two-time Emmy-nominated Hollywood producer Jacquie Jordan.
We are the show where we talk with the change agents, the storytellers, and the activators from behind the scenes, making impacts. And joining me is co-host Barbb. With show producer Stephanie Cobian.
Everyone has a friend or has a product that needs to go on Shark Tank.
Well, yeah, you say yes to everything until you hit a certain level.
This is what an astronaut looks like.
This is what a brewmaster looks like.
This is what a congresswoman looks like.
This is what an architect looks like.
This is what a pioneer looks like.
This is what a documentary film crew looks like.
There are so many inspirational women out there, but why is it sometimes so hard to see them?
Welcome back to Front and Center. I'm Jacquie Jordan, and this is the show where we have the storytellers, change agents, and activators taking their seat with us from behind the scenes, Front and Center. I'm joined with show producer Stephanie Cobian and reality television producer Phillip Andrew. And we are the people behind the scenes in life and reality making impact, and we are now Front and Center with a good friend, and I call you a change agent, an activator, powerhouse producer, editor, casting director, Margo Romero, 4-time Shark Tank Emmy award-winning team member. Thank you for being here with us
Thanks,
today.
Jacquie.
Love having you here. You were also the Emmy award-winning editor for the Empowerment Project, Extraordinary Women Doing Extraordinary Things. And what I really liked about it, it's the embodiment of what this show is all about for me. And not exclusive to women specifically. However, I love ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and that's what the behind-the-scenes project. But you call yourself an accidental producer.
I do, yeah.
Tell us.
Well, it was never my intention to work in television or film or radio or anything that had to do with media. I had planned to be a criminal attorney. I wanted to be a defense attorney for people who didn't have money, public defender.
Well, what I love about your credits is, especially specific to the entertainment industry, is you've done a lot of different roles.
I have.
So you've done, producing and casting and film production and television.
I also have an art degree, and I did art directing and production design for 7 years, and then I moved into line producing, and then moved into directing horror films, which was a whole nother lifetime.
I have so many questions. So many questions.
Did that for about 7 years, but I've produced throughout. But I call myself an accidental producer because I never really saw myself as a producer. I saw myself as a collaborator, and I didn't really realize that that's what a producer really is.
And so for the Empowerment Project.
Oh, such an amazing project to get to work on.
And with some of your favorite stories?
Here's the thing. Sarah Moshman, who directed the project, is an incredible documentary filmmaker, and I just want to give her kudos right up front. They shot for 30 days, and we spent 6 to 9 months in editing, and then another, 3 months polishing the post. But I really got to work with her to hone what was important about the story, and we, had 13 interviews with 13 extraordinary women, all in predominantly male dominated fields. And it was about finding the gem for each woman, what's the heart and soul of each woman's story, There was a mathematician that was interviewed from Claremont College, and I loved her because she had this joy for math I'd never seen anyone with a joy for math. I failed math like so many times in college. It almost cost me my degree, But she had this joy for math because she looked at it as music. And she compared it to music all of the time, and how the equations were musical to her. And there was a woman who was an entrepreneur in Harlem who has the longest running all female written and directed Black musical in Harlem, and it is just powerful. She wrote it for herself as a young actress 20-some years ago, and now is directing it with her daughter starring in it.
Very cool.
You know, so it's just, there were just so many incredible women. I
think what's really special about that for yourself, being able to help work with crafting that, is being able to take these raw, the image, the footage, and being able to then, with the audience in mind, how do we help them get connected to these people, and being able to tell their story in the most effective way possible. You know, we joke so often, it's like, I would rather listen to someone talk passionately about something that I don't care at all about than to have somebody, you know, tell me more about, you know, a topic I already know, but being bored.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for you to be able to go through all that footage. And I think a lot of times people forget how important post is.
Right.
Like how much gets done in post, in the crafting of the story. And there's so much. There's so much to do.
It's like what Jackie was saying about the what you want to say and what you say. Yeah. It's, you know, there's the script that's written, and then there's the script that's shot, and then there's the script that's edited. And then the +1 is how it's perceived by the audience, I think, you know.
3+1.
Tying it back in.
Which I think is so, and which is why, you know, I love documentary films and I love reality, you know, in from that standpoint of you're going out and we're figuring out as it's happening. You know, and like that's for me, not being a movie writer or something, it was always fun for me to just be like in the moment, figuring it out.
Right.
And so, yeah, what you've done is just, it's really powerful to be able to take those stories and then bring them into a great storytelling way to make them, you know, easy to digest and empowering for everyone else. So thank you for the work you guys have.
Thank you. And, you know, I think that part of it is like what I loved that that Stephanie was talking about, being like the token Mexican in the room, right? I was adopted, but my father's Mexican. And because of my last name, people are always saying, oh, did you marry a Mexican? I'm like, no, my dad's Mexican, you know, and I just own it. Like, what came up for me was that you were being your authentic self by saying that and sort of joking about it, riffing about it. And I think that that was the thing with the Empowerment Project that was the most important to all of us, you know, was find the authentic, true voice of each individual woman. You know, what is their authentic message? What is that gem that they have, you know, for the younger generation of women? I mean, and for all of us, you know, really for anyone in the audience watching it, but especially for younger women, to empower them to, you know, not be afraid to try something that they might think that they're going to look foolish doing. You know, it doesn't matter. Would you rather look foolish or would you rather be, you know, wrong? Well, isn't that the goal of life, really? I mean, you want everyone to be their best. You know, you want to live your most authentic life, and you want everyone that you come in contact with to be their very best. You know, I love that about Jackie. I think that since I've known you, you draw the best out in people, and I think it's a gift. You know, it's something that's really beautiful and super special. And I'm honored to be here and be able to be a part of it with you.
Forums open for people to do that.
You know, but that is what it's about. You know, I mean, really, truly, if we have anything to do on the planet, it's to be our authentic selves and to pull out of those people that we come in contact with their very best selves. You know, I love that you said that, because what else is important, really?
So, Margo, we are going to reset and talk Shark Tank with you in a moment. In our next segment sequence, producer Margo Romero from Shark Tank shares what it's like and the magic that happens putting those businesses on the show.
There was a company that has auditioned for 10 years. They've applied for 10 years. They have an idea. They have a prototype. They just finally got a patent after 10 years, but they have no sales.
If you are doing extraordinary things from behind the scenes, from any walk of life, we'd love to hear from you at frontandcenteredpodcast.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at TV Guestpert and/or TV Guestpert Broadcast Podcast. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at TV Guestpert. If you're ready to write that book you've been putting off, join us at guestpertpublishing.com for a how-to step-by-step online course that shares your publishing options and paces you on how to structure your book.
Alex Detail was a child genius who saved the world from the evil harvesters. But a decade later, this mysterious alien force has returned, and Alex is no longer a prodigy. Now, in order to save the world again, he must survive his kidnapping, fight his evil clone, and get his ship to the planet Pluto, where he will uncover the universe's ultimate power. Alex details Revolution, a thrilling new novel by Darren Campo. Buy online or wherever books are sold.
Welcome back to Front and Center with Jacquie Jordan.
30,000 people can audition for a show in a season, and 200 get on.
I am Jacquie Jordan, and this is Front and Center, and we are the storytellers, change agents, and activators affecting collective narratives. And joining us on my right is Stephanie Cobian, show producer, and Phillip Andrew Barbb, two-time Emmy Nominated television producer. And taking her seat front and center is four-time Shark Tank Emmy-winning team member Margo Romero. Margo, thank you so much for joining us. You have participated in making so much impact, and people don't recognize the faces and the souls and the hearts of the people behind the scenes that are doing this and bringing these stories forward. But we're here because we want to hear about Shark Tank. I know you were chatting in between with our executive producer about one of his early inventions that he put out, that he had to go through a whole law firm and an office, and now you go and audition for Shark Tank, and you are actually the gatekeeper for that.
People don't realize what a process it is to get on the show. Everyone has an idea. Everyone has an invention. Everyone has a product that they either have thought of or want to do or have made in their garage. And they're like, I need to go on Shark Tank. Everyone has a friend or has a product that needs to go on Shark Tank. And no one understands until they get there what it takes to actually get on the show. And it's an honor, to be a part of that process, because there's a huge team that is a part of that process, right? There's a lot of gatekeepers. 30,000 people can audition for a show in a season, and 200 get on. To hone in on what's the best invention, what's the best entrepreneur, who's camera ready, who has
story,
sales, who has story,
who can tell a story.
Who can tell it. There's so many more things than just, I have a great idea.
And it's got to be tough at times, because you've got, so many people that are incredibly passionate about what they have, even if they don't have much.
Phil, you have a strong casting background yourself, so you can relate to the process of, rejecting people who are, have their hearts and maybe their, future ideas online. Margo, has there been a company on Shark Tank that you wanted to see make the show but didn't make the show, or that the Sharks didn't invest in?
It's funny, because when you just said that, a couple of things came to mind. And one is there was a company that has auditioned for 10 years. They've applied for 10 years. They have an idea. They have a prototype. They just finally got a patent after 10 years, but they have no sales. And every year, we love these entrepreneurs. Like, the executive producers love them. Everyone in casting loves them. Everyone on my team. Every time we edit something to send to the network, because one of the things that my team does is we put together sort of like mini capsules of what would it look like if we pitched them on the show. How would we present it? How would we demo it? How would they speak to the sharks? Kind of thing, and send it to the network, and the network, along with the executive producers, decide what's going to make the best TV. So we've constantly fought for this company, because the entrepreneurs are so amazing. They're such great guys. Their energy is like out of this world, and they just really don't have anything. And this year, they're getting on.
Oh, excellent.
And I will say, it makes me so happy, because I have put their package together every single season. And every season I've said, I know you've seen them before. Please look at them again with fresh eyes. And this year they're getting on, and they're amazing, and they're going to be incredible TV. And I think the sort of thing that pushed them over the edge was that the casting director, when she met them again at one of the open calls, they kept coming to open calls every year, 10 seasons.
Their ambition.
Kept coming back with the same little prototype, And she watched the engagement that they had with everyone else in line. And everyone was so blown away by their energy and their enthusiasm that it didn't matter. It didn't matter what they were, what they actually had. It was their energy.
I want to know what they were doing for 10 years to bring in money while they weren't making money on their prototype. I want to know
a lot of other things. Yeah, a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Has there been a company or a product that you championed to get on that didn't?
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a winner on the air either.
No. Schulte's Bakery is one of my little companies that I was in Venice one day, and I went to this little bakery, and she was making bread pudding of all things, and I happen to love bread pudding, and she made it in 150 different flavors. And I said, would you consider coming and auditioning for Shark Tank? And she was like, I'm not a camera person. And at the time she was like 8 months pregnant, and she ended up getting on the show, and the Sharks didn't get it. Like, they just didn't get it for whatever reason. They didn't get her concept of rollout. They didn't get, like, why would you want 150 flavors of bread pudding, whatever it was. They didn't get it. And she was looking for investment so that she didn't just have this one little shack in Venice, right? A little tiny, 150 square feet that she was working out of. And the show aired, and I said to her after she came off taping, I grabbed her really quick and said, look, just make sure your website's up and running. Make sure you're ready to go. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row before the show airs, because you have no idea what's going to happen. And she ended up getting an investor who saw the show and said, oh my gosh, I totally get it. And now she's got 4 stores, one in Denver, one in San Francisco. I'm trying to think where maybe San Diego. But yeah, and her company just blew up overnight. And that happens with a lot of companies. I mean, I think, that's one of the things that we try to remind entrepreneurs about when they come on the show is make sure you have your
actual show.
Yeah, the exposure. And I think what you said was perfect about that idea of are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for this? Are you in a spot where you're prepared to scale? Do you know what scaling means?
Right.
Even, and being able to kind of, take it to the next level. I'd be so curious to see how, because most people never had access to watching a pitch process. Most people all over the country, unless they were in those meetings, they didn't see. And it's amazing now. I mean, now you've got so many entrepreneurs all over the country that have had all this access to see these types of things. I'd be curious to see how the pitching process has started to change or shift or gotten better.
A lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and a lot of that's attributed to the huge producing team that we have. Like, the producers really work with the entrepreneurs. Yeah,
Shark Tank is an industry within itself.
It's a microcosm of the American dream, I think.
Yeah, and it's brought spin-offs and all types of stuff. It's really the work you guys have done is really impressive. So,
well, that leads me. I want to ask you one question then. What is we're going to do our photo spire. What is the most inspiring photo you've snapped in the last 30 days?
Oh, wow. Most inspiring photo I've snapped? Is it horrible if I say probably my dog?
I love
what you've had. Of course it's the dog. That's the right answer.
When I can catch my dog with a smile on his face, that,
true love.
I always say, there's no accident that God is dog spelled backwards, because when my dog comes to the door at the end, when I come in at the end of the day, he's never disappointed in me. He's always happy to see me. He's always filled with joy. Unconditional love.
What's your dog's name?
Teddy Bear.
You're an absolute powerhouse. Thank you so much for being with us. I love you too. And to all the businesses that you've helped front and center, thank you. Hashtag your favorite PhotoSpire inspiration pick of the week to us at frontandcenterpodcast.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at TV Guestbert and TV Guestbert Broadcast Podcast. Next up, Front and Center conversation with former William Morris agent Krista Parkinson, who is now the CEO of My Grads Get Jobs.
People always want to talk about, well, what celebrities did you work with when you're an agent and all of that? What's the dirt? What's the dirt?
Alex Detail was a child genius who saved the world from the evil harvesters. But a decade later, this mysterious alien force has returned, and Alex is no longer a prodigy. Now, in order to save the world again, he must survive his kidnapping, find his evil clone, and get his ship to the planet Pluto, where he will uncover the universe's ultimate power. Alex Detail's Revolution, a thrilling new novel by Darren Campo. Buy online or wherever books are sold.